Are you looking for a hyper-visual transposition or magic that happens inside the spectator's hands? If you answered yes to either of those questions, stick around because today we're looking at William Tyrrell and Penguin Magic's instant transfer. First, I'm going to do a quick performance of instant transfer so you know what effect you're getting. Watch the bill, watch the card. They're both paper clipped for security, but if I wave the card, it changes right into a bill, and the bill changes into a card. So first of all, I hope you enjoyed that performance. Now, what do you get when you buy instant transfer? When you buy instant transfer, you get this nice magnetic enclosed box. Inside the box, you get your two Gimmick systems that will allow you to do the visual change and the change inside the spectator's hand. And you get the link to the tutorial, which is really good, which we'll talk a bit more about shortly. But first, how are the quality of the gimmicks? How is the quality of the gimmicks? Both gimmicks are very well made. One of them that allows for the change in the spectator's hand or in your hand will likely not wear out for a very, very long time because it has pretty much no moving parts. The other gimmick that allows you to do the change in your fingertips is definitely a little bit more delicate. There are a couple of parts to it that could eventually get damaged, and if they do get damaged, they are fixable, they are repairable. You can fix it if the gimmick does eventually get damaged. However, it is unlikely that the gimmick damages for a long time because with normal cards of this type of gimmick, they are on a much larger surface, but a folded up card or a folded up bill is really small, so there's less of that material that has the possibility to break. The material can break mid-performance, but it is very unlikely because the gimmick would likely show signs of breakage before it actually breaks, by a few performances before. So in short, the gimmicks are very good quality, but you still will want to be careful with them, as with everything. One thing I want to note is that since the gimmick is going in the spectator's hand, if they move their hand too much, it can displace the gimmick and make it possible to flash. And if they squeeze too hard, they can crush the gimmick. The discrepancies would likely fly over the audience's head, but you'll likely want to give them instructions. Just lightly or loosely hold onto it. Don't squeeze it. Otherwise, they could damage the gimmick. But yes, the instant transfer gimmick that allows for the change at the fingertip will break much less common than a standard, say, flat card or something like that. The quality of the gimmick is really good, and there are multiple features that I really like the fact that when you change the card to the bill at your fingertips, they see the paper clip the whole time and the change still happens. But this is really durable. It'll last you a lot longer than a standard type of this gimmick, which would typically break every 30, 40 performances. This should definitely last a lot longer. Now, how is the tutorial? The tutorial is really good. It's 50 minutes long. Will Tyrrell is in the Penguin Magic Theater, and he goes through what you receive, the gimmicks, and everything you need to know, really. He leaves no stone unturned. He teaches a couple different handlings, such as the main real-life version and the social media version. The social media version could definitely still be done in real life, though. That's the one I showed you guys earlier. Will also teaches how to repair the gimmicks once they eventually break. And it isn't too difficult to repair. It does use a certain type of material, but most magicians probably have it. And yeah, the tutorial is really good. One thing to note is that the main routine does have some similarities to an ambitious card routine. So I wouldn't perform that exact routine because I already do ACR in my set. So I'd likely change up the handling and eliminate the ACR component in the main routine if I were to perform the instant transfer effect. Now, is this a social media or a real life effect? This would work really well in real life because it's super practical, but it also has the really good visual for social media. So this would work great for both social media and real life performances. And it works great in real life because it happens in their hands, which is very commercial. The angles, how are the angles with this? The angles for instant transfer are actually surprisingly good. You can have people around 180 degrees. You just don't want people on your extreme sides or behind you. Is this examinable? At the end, if you do a move, a ditch, everything can be examined. The card that's in their hand can immediately be examined. And while they're examining that card, you can do a small ditch, then hand out the bill, and all the paper clips are examinable too, which is really nice. But I think there's not too much heat on the bill in your hand, because they're examining the card in their hand. That's what I like about transpositions. There's less heat on the object that's in your hands. It's more in the object that's in their hands, because of course they're going to want to check out the card in their hands, because they think that the card changed from a bill to a card inside their hands. So they're going to want to check that one out. And then they'll want to check out the bill in your hands, which gives you plenty of time to do the move. Let's talk about the difficulty and the practicality of instant transfer. The main routine is really, really easy, and it makes the paper clips on the card and bill justified, which is great. All you have to be able to do is a riffle force, a double lift, and some really simple stuff. And Will Tyrrell, if you don't know those moves, Will makes it easy. He teaches it. You also just need to be able to pinch a bill or pinch a card. And there is a little bit of knack when you're first learning it to position everything and get the cards in there and remembering how exactly to put it in their hands. But other than that, I think it's pretty easy, but just practice it for maybe half an hour to an hour. When it comes to practicality, this would work well for close-up, maybe parlor, but I'd be careful with this in my pocket, because it's possible that a piece breaks in your pocket. So I might put it in a coin purse with some other paper clips, and then I'd steal it from the purse when pulling out the paper clips, so that it won't get damaged in my pocket. Also, there's no DIY with this. The gimmicks come ready to go right out of the box. Pocket space. There really isn't much pocket space required. If you'd like to do the main routine, all you need is a deck of cards, a Sharpie, the 2 paper clips, and the gimmicked bill. You can even borrow a bill and add it to the gimmick, but I would be very careful with the gimmick, as I said, in my pocket, so that it doesn't break. There's a part that could come off. If it does come off, it's easy to fix. It's no problem. You can tape it back on. However, I still suggest that you take care of your gimmick and you be careful when you're putting it in your pocket. Like, don't just pull it out fast. Slowly take it out of your pocket when you're performing it. What is the reset like? The trick resets instantly, which is another real positive with this, because you can just go from table to table and perform it over and over and over and over again. What is the price? Instant transfer by William Tyrrell costs $40 US. And in my opinion, it is worth the price. There are so many features with this, and the gimmicks are handmade and very good quality. So if this suits your performing style, definitely check it out. It's also really visual, and it looks just as visual in person as it does on social media, if not more, because if you're doing it in person, people know you're not using camera cuts or anything like that. What are the pros and cons? The pros are this is so visual, it's not too difficult, it's in their hands. The secret is so good. There are so many positive subtleties here that reinforce what the spectator is seeing. The angles are pretty good, and if you're a social media magician, you have to get this. It looks like CGI. Also, the reset is instant. The tutorial is very thorough. Not too much pocket space is required, and this can be performed at the fingertips. That's what's really good. With regular cards or gimmicks of this type, you could not perform it at the fingertips, but this has a feature of it with the method that allows you to perform it right at the fingertips, which is really, really good. Also, not much pocket space is required. The tutorial is thorough, and the trick resets instantly. And also, everything's examinable at the end with a small move. The gimmick's very well made. The cons are the gimmick will eventually break and you will have to repair it. Will teaches you in the tutorial how to repair it, so it shouldn't be too difficult. But if you're not familiar with this type of gimmick, and if you're not very steady with arts and crafts, it may be a little bit annoying to repair. However, Will makes it easy. He goes through everything on the tutorial. Also, this could bend in your pocket or in the spectator's hands if they grip the stuff too tightly. And also, there are some discrepancies with the gimmick, especially if the bill and card kind of move in the spectator's hands. But what percent do I give this? Instant Transfer by William Tyrrell gets a 90% from me. I really like it. And as with most effects, this won't be everyone. However, it's going to be good for a ton of different performers because it's super visual, super practical. And thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time.